Let me ask you. So when you were doing the fixing and the flipping, right? So you had flipping, and then you also were investing for the long term, right? So buy and hold investing.
Yes, buy and hold.
What really sparked you to invest in Texas? Because you started in Austin, but what brought you to Dallas specifically?
What brought me to
Texas?
To Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because let me just back up a little bit. I had to restructure because of my personal situation.
Right.
Right. And so what I did was that I liquidated quite a lot of assets in Frankfurt.
Okay.
Yeah, to meet tax obligations, estate requirements
right.
within Germany.
Right.
And also we just wanted a change. At the same time, the market has moved a lot in Germany.
Okay.
So I exited, but
okay.
It's hard to re-enter the market in Frankfurt.
Okay.
And as I was looking at properties, generally speaking, and I was thinking I like to get back into real estate because the stock markets have
right.
been tumultuous.
Yes.
To say the least,
very
especially
volatile. This year, right?
And the stock market is also one of the areas that I invest in quite a lot. But because of the way it has been developing the last half a year or so, I started looking at, oh my gosh, I need to get back into hard assets.
Right, right.
And real estate is still my jam after all this time.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm also a tech investor. I've invested in startups. I've invested in the food industry where there are a lot of robotics. It's called Miso. I love my companies. We have another one that's a Canadian robotics company, drone company, all these different things that I do. And it's great AI algorithm company in Minnesota, one of my favorite companies as well. So I dabble a lot in that as well.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when things are kind of rocky in all these different areas of investing, you go back to real estate.
Right.
And that's what I did. So I was looking for real estate.
Okay.
To protect value and returns. And when I was comparing apples to apples, I would have had to pay 2 to 3 times more for the same kind of property in Frankfurt compared to what I just bought.
Really? Wow.
So in order to get the expected rental that we're looking at right now, right, which is we were, in the report, it was about
8,500.
8,500.
Yep.
Right. In order to get that, I would have to pay at least 3 times more.
Wow, for the asset.
Okay, let's say 2 times more.
More.
In order to get the same rental income.
Wow.
In Frankfurt. So, for me, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're looking at, you look at what, like just a net sheet. So you're just looking at, or do you have a specific percentage for each of your investment properties in terms of what you want as return?
Right. In terms of risk allocation, and you're talking about I do. And this is interesting that you brought it up because previously I was doing a traditional 30-30-30. I was talking to my tax advisors and I was doing 30% real estate, 30% stocks, and I was very conservative. I had I also had a whole bunch of cash all set up, good and bad because with inflation. Right. Yeah, and I realized, I haven't been using my cash very well. Yeah, and and of course with all these new developments, the stock market going crazy. Right, very, very volatile. So I've really had to reshuffle as I can. Right. So now I'm probably down to less than 10% cash.
Okay.
Right. But a lot more real estate.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's my investing strategy going forward because there's quite a lot of protection and preservation of value.
Hedge against inflation too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in an area like Highland Park, University Park, these are just wonderful areas where the economy is very sustained and very insulated on its own, right? And so, I think when it comes to investing in real estate, a lot of things have to be considered. Right. And having the right context is absolutely key.
Oh, 100%. I mean, having great local resources and also just that, that market knowledge.
Yes.
Right? Because, and it's specific to certain areas, right? Because, so we had, Carrie Stillwell on our first series, and she's out in, over by Eagle Mountain Lake, and she does a ton of land. Like, this is an area that it's west of Fort Worth, northwest of Fort Worth, about 20 miles away from downtown Fort Worth, but it is just starting to be developed, right? And she has that specific knowledge in her particular area of where those opportunities are. So if there was a Highland Park agent trying to offer advice on specific land opportunities, forget it. Like, you have to have somebody that's there, right? So that's really important. And so you saw Texas as you can get more bang for your buck. Absolutely. And when I think of people moving to Texas, I think of Californians, I think of New Yorkers, I think of Chicago. I don't think people from Germany have Texas on their, on their radar. So, just in our conversations, I casually mentioned to Wai-yee that I've got this video series and this is what I do. And I'm private, and I certainly am private with my clients. But you were so kind to offer to be part of this series, and that's why we call it Carving Out Your Own Slice of Texas from Abroad, right? For this particular series, because that's really it's so exciting that it's not just Texas is being looked at from a state, from a U.S. standpoint, but also from an international standpoint.
Right. And I have to say, I have been so impressed with everybody on the team, and my experience of purchasing properties in Texas has been phenomenal. And this transaction that we've done, fantastic. Thank you, Ron. I mean, I will continue to look.
Yes.
To continue to acquire.
We will continue to show you opportunity.
We will continue to keep building together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome.